Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the Day 4 progress update to the Spearwalker Beastmaster. Today, you'll notice there's a lot more companions next to us. We have gone full zoo. I talked about this yesterday and saying I swapped back out of it because it was annoying me because it was bugging out. And then yesterday, somebody in chat talked me into doing it again. And the situation is, I really like this in terms of clear, having a lot more dudes. You can do a lot more like chill, AFKing, vibing out. Versus if it's just the monkey. Is that? That's not what. No, that is walkable terrain. That's so weird. I guess the monolith thing like bugged it out so it didn't like render the floor correctly or something. Anyways, so we're once again back to try to make this setup work. And there is unfortunately a we'll call it a bug. And you'll notice right now, I just had it occur. If you look at my character, look at the monkey, the second I weapon swap, the monkey is gone. And so this is one of the main issues I've been having. I'm going to disable something. Basically, at some point, the game decides that it wants to count or one of the companions as reserved is twice the amount or something, where like, when I initially set this up, I had plenty of reservation for all the things I have, and then partway through the map, the game decides, nah, on your main weapon set that does your damage, I'm going to take away your reservation space. And I have been throwing my head against the wall, trying to figure out how to get this bug to stop occurring. But this is the main reason why I stopped playing the solo thing, because it was driving me insane. I've had theories of people saying, oh, it's tied to muster, muster's buggy. I've had the theory of like, okay, maybe I need to overdo my attributes because Sylvan provides attributes. So in order to avoid the bug, I'll just have overcapped attributes in case like something happens when you weapon swap. I don't know exactly. But it's the biggest downside of the whole thing, because I do like this in terms of a build setup, because it's just like you have this whole army that effectively does your bidding while you just get to completely chill. So I'm hoping I can figure out how to get it to stop bugging out and randomly unreserving or counting something as higher reservation than it should. And then, yeah, this is what it looks like doing a Citadel fight, genre specifically. I do need to figure out the situation though on the reservation. I was hoping I'd get a map without it bugging out, but I guess the advantage of the map bugging out is it worked. So you notice now when I was in the map, I was at 23 reservation. Now I'm out of the map, I'm at 50. And then I go to reserve, it's going to go to 23, right? Yeah, see, it goes to 23. So at some point in the map, it decided, you know what? Screw you for who knows why. This bug is driving me insane. But it randomly decides that, oh, I'm going to start unsummoning your most important companion, your Silverfist, your Zakoa the Head Crusher. I'm gonna start unsummoning him because I'm gonna decide the reservation space doesn't work, or something's getting reserved while not being on the field. I don't know exactly what the hell's going on, but it's driving me crazy. Anyways, aside from that, as for the zoo setup, how does this all work? Basically, it's the new scepter, Sylvan's effigy. Pros: you get to summon as many companions as you want as long as you have the reservation space. Con: you are losing out on the +4 levels, which is essentially double damage from the rare scepter. So essentially, for our character, we lose the a bit of single target. You get some single target back because you have multiple extra companions that are dealing damage. The Esmiri Wolf from the scepter itself, the extra rare companions, like we have the Plague Harvester, and we have a Wolf, and we have Wolf back. You get extra single target back, so it's not quite losing double or half your damage because you get some of it back. But that is the pro-con situation. You get some extra clear, you get some extra like barriers in front of you, and on top of that, you get extra defenses because the loyalty gem apparently stacks. Which to me seems completely bonkers. Ever since I put loyalty on all of my extra companions, I have felt like pretty much immortal. My HP bar is very rarely come close to dying, and I put companionship support on Wild Protector. I guess I could put it on the Spirit Vessel guy too, actually, now that I think about it. I could put it on this guy. I could put it on the Dire Tusk Boar. I could put it on the Plague Harvester. I'm not putting it on Zakoa because he's our main damage, but we could put it on even more things and just get more and more tank out of it. And since we've been doing that, we haven't really come close to dying at all. So, big advantage is A, more clear, B, additional tank, C, you lose some damage. I was going to say another advantage besides the loyalty support is with the additional companions, you have a lot more basically body blocks or targets. They'll engage with enemies, and those enemies will just like lock heads with them, so to speak, rather than having every enemy targeting you, if that makes sense. Kind of like a taunt. I don't. They're not actually like taunting. It's not like I gave them something to support adding taunt, but if they block an enemy coming over and hitting you, that in and of itself is some additional defense. So yeah, that's what we're currently working with on the character. Another big upgrade is we finally got extra crits on our Zakoa the Head Crusher, which I want to talk about ways to essentially get extra chances at capturing this dude with a good mod. So I know initially I showcased, hey, you can use this rare tablet with an extra rare mod. Another thing I would say you can do, which somebody recommended me try out yesterday, and essentially it gives you additional maps. So for example, you're limited by the amount of tablets you have, and B, you're limited by how many Riverside and Rupture maps you have. Like if I look through this map layout here, there's one Riverside that I can go and try to capture a monkey from. However, if I do the Rite of the Nameless challenge, if I go over here, I pop in the Head of the King, and I select the Rite of the Nameless to start at this Riverside, what ends up happening is you get to the end of the map, you kill the boss inside the ritual, whatever mods it has, maybe they're not ideal mods. You then will go and do the ritual throughout the map. The boss will appear again with different mods, so you've essentially multiplied the amount of value you've gotten out of this Riverside. But not only that, the additional Rite of the Nameless dudes or runs you do, the boss will continue to show up once per each of those maps. So if I run Riverside, I kill Zakoa the Head Crusher in the ritual, and I have the Rite of the Nameless, he will show up in the ritual in Auguary, then he'll show up in the ritual in Val City, so on and so forth. I tested this out on yesterday's stream, and it did work. Although the very last map he didn't show up with, or he instantly died and I didn't see him. But either way, it gives you a way to say, okay, I'm looking for this specific boss, and with the flip side is technically there's some other random bosses that will occur. While I was doing this, I had the bird boss get pulled in just as like a random extra boss, and I don't think I even had a map where he was the boss of, and he showed up in future rituals. So yeah, that's one way where you can get some extra value for hunting down your tame beast with a good mod. Ideally, you want extra crits, but if you can fish for extra crits with gain damage, that's even better. And I might do that myself. I'm going to start fishing to see if I can get extra crits plus an extra damage mod. Right now I have extra crits with 2 defensive mods. We want to try to see if we can find one with extra crits and gain damage. Something like that is what we're looking for. So yeah, that's kind of the update on what we're doing in terms of the gems. As for where do you find each of these beasts, the ones I'm currently using, Act 1, Ogum Village. If you go to this zone right here for the Werewolf Prowler, which is one of the lower reservation tame beasts, I'll just show you where this is. If you follow the road to the blacksmith area has a chance for there to be a rare. It's not guaranteed, but what will happen is, let's say, okay, there's a rare. What we would do is respawn a checkpoint, and you can just keep cycling this until you get a wolf rare, and you can kind of roll that wolf for some decent mods. If there is no rare spawned in the zone, you need to create a new Ogum Village, because it's not every Ogum Village has a rare tied to it, but if you find an instance with a rare and you reset at the checkpoint, you can re-roll it until you hit a wolf, essentially, on this very specific spawn. And they aren't guaranteed to always have a rare there, and if you kill the rare, you need to make a new instance, which I think since they kill the mobs, they're not going to spawn there anymore, but you get the point. Sometimes there's a rare. If there is, reset at the checkpoint until you find a wolf. When I did this, by the way, I had to unspec out of my Wild Protector and unreserve all my companions because they were just killing things, and I couldn't correctly scout out what I was going to capture. Obviously, we have the Infested Barrens. That's where you can farm the boar with the camp there and reset at the checkpoint. For the bug, the flying bug we have, the Plague Harvester. I don't know if you can see it. This guy right here. This guy is found in the interludes in the Carry Crossing. If you go northeast of the camp, I think that's northeast. No, maybe northwest. Basically, you go up this direction and there should be a like vendor checkpoint area where there's 2 rare Plague Harvesters and you can keep resetting that checkpoint to get a good rare harvester. Mods I have on them, they're not necessarily the best mods. I have a temp bubble, which slows down enemies from the wolf, and the Plague Harvester has a extra fizz aura. Obviously, we still have haste from the boar. You can kind of look around for better mods if you want to yourself. That's kind of the thing you can go for. And then on top of the Dire Tusk, the Plague Harvester, and the Prowler, we're also doing a wolf pack. To get the reservation space for this, you need a reservation idol, and you need to have the idolatry ascendancy point with the 2% reservation per idol you have socketed, and that's what we're doing there. As for the Forgotten Warden, which is kind of a newer chest, this thing lets you basically socket it with a primal skill. You can do any of the wyvern, wolf attacks, bear attacks, and they will use them. For example, I have Walking Calamity, and this thing will actually trigger a Walking Calamity every now and then, which is pretty hilarious to see it do. So there's some cool stuff you can do with it. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea of the current zoo setup. Loses you single target over a rare scepter, but gains you clear and quality of life, where these dudes will just hunt down everything around you, and you can kind of just loot as you go and chill in the middle of, like, let's say you're doing a, I don't know, Val Temple mechanic. You just walk over to it. They'll kind of take care of everything. You pick up the loot. You move on, that sort of thing. Another thing I want to note is I have anointed Warlord Berserker. This allows me to drop rage support, which I haven't gone through and done yet, but you can get rid of your rage supports and swap them out with something else. I need to look through and figure out what support gems I want to use. But you can drop your rage support, swap it for another damage support, and all we needed to have a generation on that is where is it? Is just have rage on hit, which I have on my Maze Strike, and I just have a rapid attacks 3, and just every now and then I just bonk things every now and then. It's once every 4 seconds. It's technically how often you can do it, but that'll give full rage to every single one of your guys. And then, of course, we still have our Refutation of Weapon Set 2 for the parry debuff, and Sniper's Mark for damage. That's just currently what we're doing. So, yeah. Anyways, that is the Day 4 update on the character. I think I covered most of the things on the character. One last thing, Rite of Passage. Chat was complaining about me not having a 3rd charm, and I had some extra money, and I was like, I'll buy the thing that gives rarity. This does not give your companions like any benefit whatsoever. It's 15 rarity for 1 second on an 80 charm cost. It is not particularly good for this build at all. I just did it because chat was bugging me about the fact I had an empty charm slot and I wasn't doing anything about it. So yeah, anyways, that's what that is. Thanks for watching the video. Take care, Exiles. Peace out and have a good one.